Scientology, my journey inside and what I learned. Welcome to my channel, guys. Come on in. Scientology is more than just an idea, it's a way of life. The teachings of Scientology tells us that our life force allows us to create the life that we want. Now, this is through a specific way of life by training the mind. So, why Scientology, right? When I was young, I remember having family members who studied the material of a Scientologist or Scientology and Freemasons. And yes, I also joined the Freemasons as well. Their beliefs of the world being about energy we create have always had an interest within my mind. When most people think of Scientology, I've come to a conclusion that usually something here, one of these topics comes up. They're a church, they're an occult, they're a private society, secret society, they're a religion, they're a specific belief, they're just faith-based, and so on and so forth. The fact is that with every religion, there's fanatics, and some go a little bit too far. Scientology itself is no different. The ideas and beliefs are solid if you accept the information with an open mind. The fact is, with anything, when you go looking for problems, you're pretty sure you're going to find them. When I first joined, I was in a mental space that made me feel like I had nowhere else to turn. Knowing that I wanted more, I was left with the decision: accept my fate or seek out knowledge in a way that I've never done before. I was on a mission. I had to find a way to be better than I was. Now, this meant that I had to defeat the habits of my own mind. When I was a young man growing up, I had this empowering voice in the back of my mind. This was my grandfather, and he was telling me, never let someone do something that you can do yourself. If you work hard today, you'll have less to do tomorrow. There were several of these little lessons that um, I was told. No matter how long it took, I was determined. Now, don't get me wrong, this wasn't an easy task because, again, I had to defeat my habits and learn new information and crunch to meet certain deadlines. But I was determined, as I said. But again, this was out of the depths of my understanding at the time. However, the determination that I had allowed me to prove myself wrong. I had to be greater than the defeat of my own mind. I spoke to an advisor from Scientology, and he asked me some very personal questions about my life. Some I won't get into for this conversation. He asked me several questions all at once, and I paused because honestly, I wasn't comfortable sharing any of that information with a perfect stranger. But I knew that if I wanted to change, I couldn't set the terms of how I went about it. So, for the first time in a long time, I faced myself and I was honest with myself because, after all, I was the one asking for help. After answering the questions, the advisor I spoke to told me I have good news and not so good news. He told me that my my way wasn't necessarily the right way. And this good news was, I can help you. And the not so good news was, I can't help you alone. This This was troubling because in the back of my mind, I was thinking, great, he's going to tell me I'm not right for Scientology. Honestly, this is what I was thinking. So instead, I was met with a steadfast response of, I'm excited for you. My team and I are ready to help you. Anything that you need. I was welcomed in with open arms as if joining a family that I never knew I wanted, but had all of a sudden. That week I got lots of calls, text from the team uh, that was just the beginning, let's say. And they were glad to help me. They asked me lots of questions, again, gearing information in different directions and trying to figure out where I was versus where I'd like to go and where I'd like to be. That week, I purchased my first book. It was an exciting day, and I was excited what was going to come, but I didn't expect a book that was a little over 600 pages. I stayed up late nights, and in about 2 weeks, I was surprised and I finished the book. After I finished the book, I spoke to another advisor, and I was surprised to learn that Scientology is the study of energy and the theory that as humans, we do not just live, but we survive. This is one of many things also called MEST, or matter, energy, space, and time. You see, as people, we can survive for many different reasons. Some of those are the idea of having children or a family, entertainment, wealth, knowledge, or just the advancement of the human race. No matter what your reasonings are, most people do not change unless they're at a point or they've reached that impressible or unpressible, immovable force. Now, that's a point to which where they are, they're forced with a choice. And that choice is sometimes mind blowing. At least it was to me. The concept that I didn't know before now, or at least didn't think about sooner, was the only thought on my mind at that moment. And that was, I needed to do more than just survive. I need to learn new ways to live in a way that allowed me to take advantage of all the aspects of the human mind. This meant I needed more books. I needed to talk to more people. And I needed to accept that there was going to be some things that I didn't want to hear. But before I learned, I had to make sure I understood everything that I was reading. This is one of the teachings of Scientology about learning. If I did not understand one word or everything from that point on, nothing would make sense. So I set up rules before I did any studying or any learning for myself. And by setting these standards for myself and sticking to it, no matter what, I was able to accomplish them. I woke up every morning at 5 a.m. I give myself an hour away from technology. Then I read one book per week. But nothing outside of basic knowledge, and only things that would allow me to be better, than I was. This way, I could emulate the life I wanted, not just dream or pray about without acting upon. Next, I found new ways to look at life and puzzles, so my mind didn't get bored easily. Lastly, I only focused on one thing at a time, so I didn't get overwhelmed or burn out. I'll put a link in the description if any of you are interested in taking a similar path than I did or that I'm on. Feel free to like, subscribe, follow, or comment for more. And thanks again for the support. Please remember, you too are capable of greatness. You only need to believe in yourself. It truly is that simple. See you next time.